All right, so we're live with Althea on Digital Learning Day 2017.
All right. Hey, everybody. I'm Althea Hudson, Tech Integrator here at Robius Middle and Swift Creek Middle. And today I'm going to be showing you a strategy that is something that we do in our classrooms quite often, and it is just going to be a gallery walk. So you know how you will put those big, huge posters around your classroom with like a driving question across the top. Your students get into small groups and travel around your room, just kind of timed, and they reflect on those questions and they reflect on what the other students have been putting on the papers. That is what we are going to learn how to digitize today. So I've got some resources for you which were shared in the course description. And if you will click on the link for that, it will take you to my Gallery Walk Sandbox for Digital Learning Day. And I've shared several resources with you. The first one is going to be the directions right here. And if you open up the Digital Gallery Walk directions, it gives you a little bit of background here on what it is that you're going to be doing, how it works, and directions on how to prep for this for your class. I've provided links to each of these things, but they are also in the folder for the gallery walk. So if you'll toggle back to that, the first thing that we're going to look at is the digital gallery walk color wheel. And if you go ahead and open that up, you can make a copy of this template. And what you're going to do is go up to File, go down to Make a Copy. And then, of course, you can rename it whatever it is you want to rename it, and then hit OK. You'll notice on this that each of these numbers is a hyperlink. And you can separate your groups through whatever differentiation strategy you want to use, whether it's based on their skill level, based on their knowledge of the content, maybe it's their learning styles, whatever it is you want to do in your class is how you're going to separate your kids. And you're going to give them each a color or a number. And when you start this activity, you need to make sure that this is a view-only document so that your kids can actually get to this document but not edit it. And just a quick reminder on how to do that. You will come up to, excuse me, up to the shared settings. And you are going to go into your advanced, and you're going to make sure that anyone at Chesterfield County Public Schools with the link can view. And then you're going to save it. And then, of course, you can share this out with your kids any way that you want, whether it is through Google Classroom or push it out through Hopara. I know a lot of you have a daily agenda that you can link to. Any of those resources would be good. You'll notice that when your kids go into their group that's assigned to them, it takes them to the essential question template. And you actually have access to those in the sandbox. Again, I put all of the digital question templates in a little folder so that you've got 1 through 6 right here. So you do have access to all of those. But once your kids are on the essential question for their group, up here will be the driving question for them, and they will simply need to click on the image and either Control-C and Control-V to copy and paste, and then they can move their sticky note, and then they can type their information on the sticky note. Right, so they're giving you a really awesome response. So as the kids are working in small groups of maybe 4 or 5 tops, I would say, they're all working collaboratively and they can all see each other's answers right here and have a group discussion. When they're done with that, they simply click on the tab to close it into their gallery walk, and you tell them follow the arrows and you're going to go ahead and rotate to the next station at this time. So they click on the second one and they open it up and they continue on. The thing about this is once they go into the second one, though, it's kind of like the real gallery walk, like the first people's answers are already there. So they might see something that looks like this example here that I put in the same box for you, where you have people who are starting to put in comments. And now people can come up here to the different shapes perhaps and choose a shape or a color that they like and comment on other people's thoughts. So now you're even driving a discussion, not even like just in person with these kids within a group, but kids who are in different groups can now comment and post on each other's ideas as well. So they're kind of taking it up a little level right there. Now, in order to set this whole thing up, you are going to have to do a little bit of prep work. You are going to need to make copies of the digital gallery walk color wheel. You are going to need to make copies of each of the essential questions. And depending on how you want to do this with your classes, I would highly recommend making a color wheel and templates for the essential questions for each class that you have. Otherwise, it could get really, really full, really, really fast. And unless you reset the history of the document, then it's not going to look blank for the next class coming in, that you've lost all of the work for your previous classes. So this is really good for your kids to go back and look at each, as maybe a review. So I wouldn't recommend that you reset it. I would recommend you make copies of all of these. And when you're making copies of each of your essential questions, maybe up here call it like essential question 1, and then call it like maybe block 1, so that you can keep them straight, like which goes for which class. The other thing that I'm going to recommend is in your shared settings for the essential questions, you need to make sure that anyone at Chesterfield County Public Schools with the link can edit. Now I have it can view so that people aren't writing on my templates today, but you need to make sure that you do can edit, or you need to right here type in the class number for your students and give them editing rights. So either way that you want to share it and give your students editing rights, you can certainly do that. The reason being is if you don't give your students editing rights, you only give them viewing rights, they can't see or they can't write on this, they can only look at it, which defeats the whole purpose of this activity. Something else that I thought you might like to know about the gallery walk is that this could be used for different lessons. So it doesn't have to be just like a paper walk. It could be used as a station review. Lots of my teachers, how do I flip back? Sorry. There we go. Lots of my teachers will use this for a station review as well, instead of just as like a paper walk. So perhaps on your color wheel, instead of numbers, you put the names of different stations there so that your students know which station they're going to be starting on. And some of it could be they're doing some kind of research or work collaboratively on the Chromebook for a station, but when it's time to go to another station, they get up, physically move locations, and are working like maybe with some kind of hands-on activity that they take a picture of and upload that to the shared station document when they are finished with that. So there are several different things that the teachers can do with this actual activity. You could potentially make it like a choice menu. If you're trying to offer some choices to your kids for differentiation, instead of doing the 4 squares or the tic-tac-toe, you could give them a wheel to potentially do menu choices for differentiated learning. So just some considerations for you. Spears, I'm going to go ahead and be done. I know I've got 5 minutes left, but I feel like I've talked enough right now to get an idea of how it's going to go. Flag is, do I need to end this call or do you end this? Okay.
So At this point,
Okay.
we're going to